Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know this is going to be a little bit different than the video series that I have going on about building a brand for your portfolio, but I figured to give my opinion about what's new in the graphic design community, and that is the battle between Affinity and Adobe products, aka Illustrator and Photoshop. That being said, welcome, and let's get started. One thing I do want to kind of be clear is that this is my opinion, and even though there are some things that I like about Affinity, there are also other things that I do like about Illustrator. So I might be a little bit biased on that, but overall, they're both great programs. So I just wanted to give my opinion to you guys. The first opinion that I have to say is obviously price. Price is a game changer. Affinity being completely free for creatives is absolutely fantastic. However, it being free does kind of still raise some questions on what they're trying to achieve. But again, it is a game changer in terms of that. And I won't lie, just because of price, that might be a way to switch different programs. That being said, however, if you are thinking about switching to Affinity from Adobe products, I will say be prepared to learn. One of the best things about Affinity that I kind of learned myself was that you can completely customize your workflow on the tools that are being used and overall just how you're going to be using Affinity. And don't get me wrong, it is extremely nice with Affinity that you can have all three apps that are kind of resembling Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign in one place instead of opening different programs, pulling different files so you can recreate that. So that has been a tremendous thing in that regard. However, and I don't know if this is just us being conditioned to use it, Adobe products for so long. I've been using this since 2016, a little earlier actually, but primarily been using Adobe products since then, almost daily. That it has become almost second nature on how the tools look and how they work in general. And even with the updates, it has been kind of a game changer in terms of just the workflow element. Um, I'm going to actually put a couple of videos in the background where one side is going to be Affinity and the other is going to be Illustrator, creating the exact same image. And you can kind of see how fast I go in Illustrator versus Affinity just because there is such a familiarity of tools that the workflow just kind of goes by a little faster. That being said, I will say that having the customization to really make your workflow as fast as possible is an amazing achievement on Affinity's part. And I kind of wish Illustrator would kind of adopt that in Photoshop. Really, all Adobe products should kind of take a little bit of note in that if they want to continue in the future. But that's kind of my opinion on that. I will say the second opinion that I have is that Adobe is just too familiar. Like, I still work in Adobe products. I still use Illustrator. I still use Photoshop. I've only been using Affinity for the last week since the new update has come out, where it is just one app, and it is quite a learning curve. And I'll keep you guys updated in terms of how things go and maybe making the permanent switch, which gives me to the opinion itself. Don't cancel anything yet until you feel absolutely and 100% sure that you are comfortable with Affinity. I still have my subscription to Adobe right now while I work with Affinity just to kind of keep everything together in terms of files and just kind of keeping that workflow kind of fully working because I am so used to the program and Affinity is still such a learning curve for me. Especially with like as a young graphic designer, I'm so used to seeing the icons for the different tools, and in Infinity, they're all slightly different, and it took me a little bit to keep that in mind while I was working on the thing, and it kind of tripped me up a few times, and I was trying to figure out where the tools are, where things are going, and yeah. My third opinion is that Affinity is a really good tool. In fact, Will Patterson and a few other designers that I've seen on YouTube have been covering it, and the tricks and everything that they've already figured out is absolutely amazing. And I highly recommend going and watching their videos and seeing if Affinity will work for you. But just kind of overall opinion, I'm still gonna keep going with Adobe right now, but I'm gonna slowly keep building the confidence to do Affinity. And I'm probably gonna, not gonna lie to you guys, switch to Affinity just because of the price point. And once I develop that workflow and get used to all the icons for the tools, really dive in and start making my workflow a little bit faster. Plus, and I almost forgot to mention this, one thing about Affinity that I do love is that all the file types that you can think of can go through them. In fact, when I was going through my old files and pulling up different files in Affinity programs, it was kind of nice how it already converted everything. And that was kind of a nice little like, oh, okay, I didn't have to do anything. Now, granted, there is a little bit of a look change on some, but everything is still editable, everything's still workable, and that was kind of nice to know. So
It's just a very quick video today, but I would love to hear your opinions on Illustrator or any Adobe product versus Affinity. If you would like, please let me know if you want me to go dive in a lot deeper into Infinity. This is kind of just a little bit of a taste test video on the subject, but I would love to get your guys' opinion and help each other out. And I would love to kind of go into this a little bit further as well. So thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, and please keep viewing. You guys are awesome. So thank you. Peace out.